then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. are lost. Everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels slow mo.
I gotta.
When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Happy Sunday evening, race fans. Welcome to the Icon Cup Series here at Kansas in the Kansas 250 on Sim Racing Media. We're having a little bit of a delayed start as there was an issue with the qualifying session on Iracing, so we've got it reset. A new session is up. Drivers are out on track trying to lay down that qualifying lap to get them started in this one. But while we wait for them to wrap that up, let's talk about last week. Was at New Hampshire. Cautions on cautions and twists and turns. A round of 12 concluded in dramatic fashion. Pole sitter Brian Smith led 98 laps, but then faced two penalties about halfway through the race, as he was given a penalty by race control for contact with the 48 of John McNeil. Then he mistakenly entered pit road under the same caution. Although he was able to make up 2 laps lost due to those penalties, network issues would ultimately sideline Smith, dropping him to an 18th place finish. Luckily, he had already clinched a spot in the round of 8 on points. Past Icon New Hampshire winner Ryan Patty showed promise early on, but his aggression on the low line had him spinning all by himself more than once during the race. He was able to use pit strategy and raw speed to come home in P2, but not quite get the victory. 2 stage cautions and 12 cautions for cause shook up the field over and over as Bentley Glazer and John McNeil were seemingly involved in every one of them. McNeil's bad luck caught up with him as he hit the incident limit with contact in the final caution with just 2 laps remaining. That incident limit penalty dropped him to 13th, But with roughly 61 laps to go, Cody Neal took the lead, proceeded to stay out on track for the next handful of cautions, even as the entire field picked up fresh tires and full fuel tanks over and over. He just continued to stay out in the lead. This strategy paid off, as he would never relinquish the lead in those last 61 laps, including an overtime finish. So it ended up being Cody Neal, Ryan Patty, and Jake Champion on the podium. We've still got about another minute in qualifying here at Kansas. As always, I am Shane Cochran up in the booth. With me tonight is Alan Bergen. Alan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Look, it's sunny here in Kansas. It was sunny in St. Louis. But nonetheless, here we are in the sunflower state of Kansas as we are getting ready to rock out 250 miles here at the Kansas Speedway. You know, it's one of the newer tracks on the schedule, as this track was built right around and debuted the same season as Chicagoland, which is making its comeback next season on the NASCAR Cup schedule. But here we are in the Sunflower State. I'm ready to get going. I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, this should be an action-packed race. If you watch the in real life Cup race this afternoon, you see how tight it is. A lot of lines to drive. But here at Icon, we are breaking our way into the round of 8 here at Kansas. It'll be the Roval and Las Vegas to finish out this round. We talked about last week's race. What we didn't talk about yet is the point standings as we enter the round of 8. After wrapping up the round of 12, 4 drivers have been eliminated. Nathan Finnegan, one of those drivers, last year's champion. He's got 5 wins on the season. That's going to open up some opportunities for some other drivers. John McNeil, Jonathan Duncan, and Michael Taylor, the other drivers eliminated there on that last race. So it's going to be Jacob Smith, Ryan Patty, Cody Neal, Brian Smith, Braxton Deweese, Patrick Colby, Kyle Purcell, and Chuck Van Schaik. Your 8 drivers advancing into this next round here at Kansas. And it's going to be a wild one.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are watching these guys warm up here, 167 laps. Cautions or stages will be at 50 and 105. Additional sets of tires, including the one they got on the car here. 3 attempts at a green, white, checkered, and well, that fuel window, that all-important fuel window, between 35 and 37 laps tonight. Shane, I am ready to go. I'm pumped. And, you know, the only thing I forgot was the sunblock today.
Well, hopefully we won't need it here through the computers, but it is a bright, sunny day out there. 80 degrees air temperature, 100 degrees track temperature. It'll be slick out here at Kansas. You're not too far from this speedway, are you, Alan?
No, it's about a 4.5 hours worth of driving to get from one end of Missouri to the other. So this is kind of like a home race.
Yeah, this is just one of those bread and butter tracks, especially for this next gen car, that you've got to stay in the gas. It's all about momentum. It's all about aggression, too. You cannot just give up a position, because you're probably going to give up more than one if you lift out of the gas for that first one. So I think we're going to see aggression all day long, and clean air going to be pretty king. If you can get out front and get a good restart, you can kind of drive away from the pack. Everybody else, though, is going to be battling for that clean air, trying to find their way around. This is just like I said, another great track, especially with this next gen car. You can do a slide job going down low. You can rim ride up by the wall and just get a ton of momentum coming off the turns. A lot of ways to get passes done, and a lot of ways to find yourself in trouble as well. So we'll take a little look at the point standings now that they've reset for the round of 8. Brian Smith with a 56 point buffer to the cut line. Again, this is the first of 3 races here in the round of 8, but he's pretty comfortable already. Everybody else, though, within 15 points of the cut line, whether that's Jacob Smith 15 to the good or Kyle Purcell 14 to the bad. So everyone going to be looking to have a solid race. You need stage points. You need a top 10 finish. That's going to be the key to staying relevant in the playoffs here.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about this racetrack too, is, Shane, there's a ton of different lines. You can, like you said, you can make that slide job from from the bottom to the top, and then, but nonetheless, here we are getting ready for some great racing action.
We're going to jump on board our pace truck and watch the field get there. It does look like the front row is going to be dominated by Buddy Motorsports with both Brian Smith and Cody Neal, the 78 and 38 lined up there. Once we get everyone on track, we'll run through our grid, show you where these drivers are going to be working their way up from tonight in the Kansas 250. Again, we talked about the weather. We're going to keep an eye on this track temp. With the sun out like this, it's only going to get hotter and hotter as the race goes on. 100 degrees already on track, a light wind. Otherwise, it is just sunlight bearing down on the asphalt.
It's fun. Yeah, look, the fans in the virtual stands are going to need their sunblock here tonight because, you know, as we work our way to 150 or 50.
It's going to be Brian Smith, Cody Neal out front, leading the field to green. Then Jacob Smith and Kyle Purcell on row 2. Hollinsworth and Sean Purcell in row 3. Jake Champion and Braxton DeWeese in row 4. Bentley Glazer and Anthony Tizio in row 5. Then Ryan Patty, Adam Ball in row 6. That's going to be Patrick Colby and Chuck Van Schaik in 13th and 14th. Charles Woods and Ethan Van Colley in row 8. Then Charlie Widener and Brad Delph in row 9. Chris Camburn and Kyle Gilbert rounding up your top 20. Hanover Fist and Nathan Finnegan in row 11. And Zach Lockett and Justin Bissonette in row 12. Kyle Diaz and Nathan Berzowski in row 13. Then Robert Bloom and Cody Eldred. And with that, pace truck is down on pit road. The green flag is out, and we are racing at Kansas.
Already fanned out 3 wide going into turn number 1. Here comes Brian Smith on the inside. He's in protection mode, and you've already got cars going to the outside.
There goes Purcell down low on the 38. He's going to slide up and take that position away for second.
You got to be real careful here, Shane, because the harder you run these cars in the early stages, the tighter these cars are going to get. Now, it may be a cool fall day here in the virtual Kansas Speedway, but make no mistakes about it, this track's a little warm today.
Yeah, drivers 3 wide all the way back through the field. We see Champion up to the bumper of the 97. Hollinsworth, one of those part-time drivers we don't see that often, but he's out here racing at Kansas. Just in front of Champion and Glazer. Ryan Patty and Braxton DeWeese in this hornet's nest as well. And all these drivers in the middle of the pack, they gotta be smart with their tires. It is so tempting to just mash the gas and try to get out of this mid-pack mess and make your way to the front. But if you do it by using up your tires, you're just gonna drift back at the end of the run. You've got to find a way to do it while rationing the rubber.
Here comes Braxton DeWeese working the outside, and this is going to be a battle. Oh,
he checks up.
Oh, we got trouble. Cars around.
That's going to be our
out.
First caution of the night, and you saw it there as DeWeese got squeezed into the wall 3 wide and then started to lose the handle on that car. He came down into, I believe it was Colby, and a few other drivers got collected up in that one. We'll take a look what happened here on lap 4. Starting with the 8 car of Braxton DeWeese. Right there, just ran out of room coming off the corner. then with some help from the 15 and the 28, then the 19. 8 car slides it. But it was the other cars that kind of got the worst of it. Adam Ball, one of them. Chuck Van Schaik, another. Gonna ride along with Adam Ball from the SRM blimp on this replay here. He was just behind Deweese. Looks like the 23 and the 95 also got into the wall, and then each other. This time, let's ride along with the 23. Everyone just kind of doing their best to get out of the way, but too little too late. A number of drivers turned around and into the wall. Looks like Ethan Van Colley might have gotten the worst of it. Let's see what happened to the 85. What a meatball flag on that Charmin machine. There it is. Contact with, I think that was Woods, Colby, and a few others.
It's gonna take more than Charmin to get that car fixed.
And then almost stuck on the apron. I think he was finally able to get it going. So we've got about a third of the field is sitting on pit road. That'd be Braxton Deweese, Adam Ball, Patrick Colby, Chuck Van Schaik, Charles Woods, Charlie Widener, Kyle Gilbert, Nathan Finnegan, Justin Bissonette, Cody Eldred, and EVC Ethan Van Colley, all sitting on pit road trying to get these cars taken care of. They're still on the lead lap for the moment. As long as they jump off here in the next few seconds, as we see Deweese and Ball doing, they are going to stay on the lead lap. But big time repairs for about a third of the field here already after this wreck on lap 4. And again, it was just kind of a 3-wide racing there. If Deweese stays in the gas, I think he ends up wrecking with Champion. Instead, decides to let off the throttle, and then just the car just starts to wiggle waggle and come around on him.
What a tough break for some of these drivers. Looks like hand over fist serving a got a black flag he's got to serve. Let me go back to green flag racing.
And we'll go back, let's see if we can see what happened. 69 picked up the black flag entering pit road. Not sure if pit road was closed or maybe came in a little hot.
Yes.
One or both.
I'll take all of the above for 1,000, Alex.
With that, why don't we jump on board with the 5th place car, Sean Purcell, in the 74. Nice clean start up front. Smith gonna jump to the bottom inside of Kyle Purcell in the 01. Up to 3rd for that 4-car. Big checkup though, and there they go. Sean able to avoid it. Kyle was not.
Sean Purcell, great driving, great heads up. Jacob Smith. Oh boy. Oy.
Go back and see what happened to the 4-car. It looked like he had to check up on exit, and just the field is coming with a head of steam. That is not the time to do it. He came up across the 01.
That is one broken bat.
Then got to spinning here. We'll see if anybody else gets collected up in this one. The field doing a great job going around him as he's spinning right down the center of the track. Okay for now. So why don't we watch this again from the 01 right there.
It looks like Jacob Smith didn't even know that Kyle Purcell was there. Either that or maybe First Next got on Kyle Purcell's rig tonight.
Yeah, from that view, it didn't seem as abrupt, but when we were riding on board with the 74, it looked to me like the 4 really checked up on exit, and so I think he was going to clear Kyle until that checkup, and then they were at the same place at the same time. So 2 cautions already in the first 10 laps of racing in the Kansas 250. Brian Smith out front. Led every lap so far.
Maybe we, I don't know, get all the cautions out in the first stage and then,
Hey, if that's what it takes.
After that.
Do want to mention, we mentioned Berzowski in the starting grid, but it looks like he did not start the race. I'm guessing Nathan is running race control tonight here for Icon. We've got Ethan Van Colley still in the pits making repairs after the first caution. He's already 5 laps down. Hanover Fist and Cody Eldred both picking up black flags under this caution. Fist actually might still be the same black flag he had from the first one and didn't get a chance to clear it or serve it just yet.
Well, Shane, if Nathan Brazowski is running race control, shout out to Nathan, because race control, I'm sure you know, is a thankless job. And look, when you're doing race control, it's like being lost luggage at the airport. You're just catching crap all day long.
Yeah, no, not a lot of applause from the drivers for race control, but we appreciate Nathan down there if that's what he's doing tonight. We're going to check and see how Cody Eldred picked up his black flag. Right here, I don't see anything obvious.
Yes.
So, not sure about that one.
But nonetheless, it's going to be Brian Smith. Buddy Motorsports taking the front row, that contingent, as we get ready to put it back on the loud pedal and try to make some more laps here. Lap 11 of 160. We're working our way to lap number 50. That's when stage 1 ends. As an iRacing.com pace car gonna take the hard left on the pit road. It's gonna be Brian Smith, Cody Neal on the loud button, and we are back to green flag racing.
A little bit of a slip by the 38. He almost spun the tires there, so that let Ryan Patty right to his bumper. And now Brian Smith cleanly into the lead. He's going to clear the 38. Patty using the high line. Let's see if he gets a run.
Ryan Patty's going all the way to the apron.
And that is the blueprint to make a pass here at Kansas. Use the high line to build momentum, and then when you come to their bumper down the front stretch, dive all the way to the grass and get underneath of them to clear them into turns 1 and 2, and that's exactly what that 30 car just did. A reminder that in our tower on the left, all drivers shown in blue, they are your playoff drivers who can secure a spot into the round of 4 by winning here tonight or in the next 2 weeks. They are going to be pushing hard. Jacob Smith, the one of those playoff drivers, now with the biggest uphill battle after that caution a couple laps ago. Looks like the 74 just snagged the wall slightly. That's going to give Bentley Glazer a run to his inside. Jake Champion trying to come with him.
You can see some of the drivers venturing up to that high line, and that a lot of these drivers are going to utilize that apron. There is no out of bounds at a racetrack like this. You can go high, low, apron, anywhere except for pit road unless you want to make a stop.
Purcell going to get back around Bentley Glazer. That sends the 87 back to 5th position. Brian Smith starting to pull away, now a half-second lead over the 30 car of Ryan Patty. Running P2.
Ryan Patty out of Boston, Massachusetts, currently running 2nd. And then you got Sean Purcell back there in that 74 car.
So still 24 cars on the lead lap. Cody Eldred served that black flag. That's got him 3 laps down. Hanover Fist served his. Got him 4 laps down. Both of those drivers going to hope for some wave rounds and lucky dogs to get back in contention here. 74. I don't know if he was into the wall or not, but he was as close as you can get. Lost a little bit of momentum. We check the fastest laps of the race. Kyle Purcell, the fastest so far tonight with a 30.17. Ooh, and the 74 and 30 right on top of each other. Sharing a fender is what it looked like to me.
Yeah, they were Goodyear to Goodyear for a minute.
Patty defending that 2nd position hard here on lap 19. As the 78 continues to pull away. Other fast drivers so far here tonight. Jake Champion running in 6th. Brian Smith out front. Sean Purcell currently 3rd, and Kyle Diaz in 7th. Diaz, one of our biggest gainers, up 18 positions from the start of the race. Great start there for Kyle. Zach Lockett, another driver, gaining positions in a hurry, up 14. Then Justin Bissonette with 11. Ryan Patty's up 9 to get to that 2nd position as well. Pretty impressive early on here for our drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. As we were working stage 1 here, 20 of 50, 19 in the books here. And then you got Jeff Hollingsworth there in that number 97 car, who we normally see on Tuesday nights with the WSRL Truck Series. He came over here to play. He's currently 8th. Don't discount him out here in the Icon Cup Series.
Always love to see drivers crossing over.
Oh, well, he almost crossed over all right.
That's the 26 of Diaz down low. This battle for 7th. Everybody in front of them single file, but right here they are fighting hard. The 97 gonna take it. And then set his sights on Champion in the 27. So we jump on board with Hollingsworth. And see how he's doing this. It looks like they're not doing a lot of shifting, staying in 5th all the way around. There goes Diaz around the outside. And this is all about finesse. You can hear nothing abrupt. You're not slamming back into the gas. You're not slamming on the brakes. It's all about being smooth, finding the clean air. 97 doing a great job running in the top 10. This is the closest battle on track right now between the 26 and the 97. The 74 and the 30 still fighting over 2nd place, with Patty holding on to it for now. We've seen a couple drivers move up into that high line, but it seems like in this run we've got going here, the drivers going down low and or hanging it in the middle are the ones that seem to prevail on the long haul. Neal and Glazer were up high that time around though.
No one throwing haymakers just yet, though. That's the thing. Is now we're almost 26 laps to go here in stage number 1, as we're looking at Chris Camber in there and that number 88 car, that Branch Chevrolet. There's something about those agricultural sponsorships and being at these, at the Kansas speedways, your Iowa speedways, and even your Chicagoland speedways. These drivers drive extra hard here, and we got a next caution. Yellow flag comes out.
Yes, sir. On lap 25, I don't see anything.
Cody Neal, maybe?
There it is. It just popped up. See him down there on the apron. Neal was running in the top 5. Oh, we jumped into that one a little late. Let's back it up. He is going to dive bomb the 74. Quite possibly not clear him all the way.
And he gets loose. That's netcode. That is netcode all day long.
Well,
there's no dive bombing. Sean Purcell never even touched the 38 car.
He did, yeah. He cleared the 74. I think he might have smacked the wall, Alan. Why don't we jump on board with the 74 here and watch that again? Sean Purcell getting passed by Cody Neal, and yeah, he drove into the wall, got loose, and then came right back in front of Sean. Not really anything done wrong by either driver there, in my humble opinion, but Neal, trying so hard to make that pass, just got into the wall, and that snapped that 38 car loose. I don't think anyone else caught any contact here.
We're going to agree to disagree on this one. I think it's netcode. Because the first unit we had, the 38 was never touched by the 74 car.
Well, let's jump. We got time. We can look at it.
We're going to analyze this one.
Let's jump this time. Let's jump on board the 38 as he makes this pass. Here, gas it up real strong there, mid corner. Yeah, I mean, there was no contact, like front bumper to back bumper. I think Neal got the wall, but then once he was loose, there's definitely contact is there. Sharing some sheet metal. So, a little bit of pit strategy playing out here. 2 drivers stayed out while everyone else hit pit road. That's going to be Chuck Van Schaik and Patrick Colby. Kind of an interesting one here. They were both in on lap 9 at one of our earlier cautions. So they have an 18 lap difference on fuel. But I don't think they can make it to the end of the stage. Right? Our fuel window was somewhere around 35, 37 laps. They're going to be close. Maybe with all these cautions, they're saving enough under yellow to make a run at it. But this will be an interesting one, because even though everyone came down and grabbed fuel, very few drivers actually got tires. So Bentley Glazer and Jake Champion, they're running 7th and 8th. They're the first drivers that took some tires, but just 2 by our estimates. Again, we're kind of guessing all of this based on the pit time. And then back in 13th is Kyle Purcell. The first driver has 4 fresh tires. We're going to want to keep an eye on the 01 of Kyle Purcell. He's going to be moving forward, I'm guessing, here in the next 20 laps to wrap up stage 1. Here we go. Van Schaik out front with Colby to his right. Brian Smith and Ryan Patty just behind him in row 2. Relatively smooth start as Van Schaik jumps out to the lead.
Chuck Van Schaik out to the early lead here on this restart. 21 laps to go here in the stage. And Shane, we got our first question into the booth. Which Andrew Dell wants to know which fish is best. I'm going to say walleye.
I'm just going to say whatever they put in the sticks. That's what I like. And this is the first time I realized I never asked what kind of fish is in the stick. Meanwhile, Ryan Patty smacked the wall, lost a little bit of momentum, and dropped back to fourth as Hollingsworth got third away from him. And there you can see Champion and Glazer way up high. Kyle Gilbert with them too. Drivers starting to search around for speed on this run. Up front, Brian Smith's gotten around Chuck.
I saw some contact. No, we had smoke but no fire.
Now this pack right here is where the action is. Kyle Gilbert slaps the wall. Colby and Delph both a little loose. Here comes the 06 down low with a head of steam. I thought he was going to clear Champion, but not quite. That high line comes back with a big pile of momentum here on the front stretch.
We're 3 wide. Gonna be Purcell. Gonna be Delph. Nope, we were 3 wide.
I think we're still 3 wide, especially once we dive into this corner.
Nope. For a millisecond.
And again, the 01. That's Kyle Purcell, first driver on 4 fresh tires. Already up 4 positions from the restart in just 3 laps. Expect him to keep moving forward. Oh, Gilbert has to check up and goes up into the wall.
Well, here's the thing about Kyle Purcell in that 01 car right now, is he's on Dr. Feelgoods. He's Superman. Now, once we get a little bit deeper into this run, towards the end of stage number 1, those Dr. Feelgoods are going to become Dr. Feelbads.
Well, they're going to feel better than everyone else is here, at least to the end of the stage. You just see how much speed he carries there as he gains on Colby. Slaps the wall, but keeps going. Trying to catch Hollingsworth. He's in 6th now, is Purcell. Up 7 positions from the restart. Dives to the bottom of the 28. Takes away 5th place. Still 15 laps to go in stage 1. Kyle Purcell is on the move.
Yeah, 15 laps to go in stage number 1. Kyle Purcell back up to just about where he started at. And then you got Jeff Hollingsworth right in front of him. He's one tough customer. You're not going to get around Jeff easily.
And this is where it gets tough. Those tires pay off when you're in traffic. You can be aggressive and just stay in the throttle on exit. But now that they're spaced out, that speed differential just a little bit different. We take a look who's fastest on track the last lap. Ethan Van Colley, actually one of the, well, he's out of the race, but his when he was on track, he was turning some fast laps. But Kyle Purcell is the fastest driver on track right now. Oh, but that time it was Brian Smith. Almost a 31 flat. Purcell up to 4th. Still smacking the wall every so often. Does not slow him down. 13 to go here in stage 1. Delph and Colby are side by side. That's a battle for 6th.
Yo, and here's the thing too, Brian Smith would love to get that first win to get himself into the round of 4, or done and out of the way. And so would Ryan Patty. Ryan Patty had a great showing last week. Brian Smith just could not overcome those mishaps, and those are mistakes as we get deeper into these playoff rounds that you cannot afford.
Yeah, penalties on top of hardware issues. Rough one for the 78, who already has 11 wins this season. Oh, Purcell down off the track. That's the 01.
And
he rejoins, but loses 3 or 4 positions. We'll go back and see what happens to the 01. He's battling with Ryan Patty. This is 1 lap ago. Right there, just gets loose on exit, but saves it. Keeps it out of the wall. And that's dropped him now all the way back to 10th. Up front, Van Schaik is still hanging with the 78. About a half a second between them, and then 2 seconds back to third place Ryan Patty. Now with 9 laps remaining in stage 1.
You know, I want to take a moment, Shane, get your opinion on the rumor mill that's happening right now concerning the point system for 2026. With the rumor is that the NASCAR are going to revert back to the points system before the chase and the playoffs.
Yeah, I've heard kind of a little bit of everything this week. I feel like the most dependable rumor I've heard is that they're just going to expand that final round to maybe be a couple of races instead of 1. Similar to how Icon does it here. They have 3 races in their final round. I think that's reasonable. I mean, I've been watching NASCAR for a long time, and I just don't think the people who are upset about the playoff system remember how boring it is to have someone lock up a championship 3 races before the end of the season. I mean, if that's what you like, I think Formula One is where you should be focusing. They've pretty much got their championship limited down to 2 drivers with 10 left to go in the season. Personally, I love the playoff system. I think as long as your driver still has a shot, it keeps you engaged as a fan, and I appreciate that. I can certainly understand the criticisms of whether or not a 1-win Joey Logano deserves to beat a 6-win Kyle Larson for the championship. But I mean, this is every sport, right? If you can't win in the Super Bowl, if you can't win in the playoffs when it's on the line, you don't get to win.
Exactly. And I'll be real honest with you. Whenever they introduced the chase to the playoffs, I wasn't the world's largest fan of it. But now that I've seen the excitement that it brings to the table, even in the virtual world, I'm a huge fan of it now. I can't see it any other way. Also with the stage racing, I mean, if you think about it, stage racing was never nothing new. I mean, they've been doing it in the Busch in the All-Star race for decades.
Right, and that's a race where it's like, hey, we want to make this fun and exciting. Well, I like my whole season to be fun and exciting.
5 to go here. Make that 4 to go here at stage number 1. As we have had 40, we're working lap number 47. 3 cautions for 9 laps, 1 lead change. Brian Smith is our leader right now. And we're watching Patrick Colby there in that 4th position. Now, I tell you what, Brian Smith, Ryan Patty, the top 4 right now would love nothing more than to go into Charlotte and be comfortable going into the last road course.
Yeah, the Roval coming up next on the schedule. That's one of those races, either you've got it circled because you can't wait, or you've got it circled because you wish you could opt out. I personally, I love the road courses. I'm a bit of a road course ringer. Got some GT3 experience running the 24 Hours of Daytona and the Bathurst 12 and things like that. So I love a good road course. It kind of gives me some hope in the middle of the season, but I know there's a lot of drivers that would prefer to be at a bread and butter track like Kansas here. But that's the reality of the Cup Series in modern times. You've got to be good at everything.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 laps to go. Stage number 1. It's all Brian Smith. It's all Chuck Van Schaik. And at number 23, up 12 spots, involved in an earlier incident, and here he is.
And these drivers almost matching lap times down to the 100th of a second over the last couple of laps. Van Schaik is hanging right there with the 78. I don't know if he's got enough to catch him here with just 1 lap to go, but he has kept that gap under a half second almost this entire run. As we complete lap 50, Brian Smith gonna hold off Van Schaik's charge. And there's the stage caution. So drivers getting stage points there. It's going to be Brian Smith up front, then Chuck Van Schaik, Ryan Patty, Patrick Colby, Braxton DeWeese, Brad Delph, Justin Bissonette, Adam Ball, Hollinsworth, and Lockett. And the key here is only the top 5 are playoff drivers. The other, the 6th through 10th, out of the playoffs right now. So a lot of points given up by all of the playoff drivers that were not in the top 10. And I think Purcell in the 01 is the one hurting the most there, as he was using fresh tires to gain on the leaders until that little bit of slip up cost him. So with that, we're going to jump to our first commercial break of the night here with the Icon Cup Series on Sim Racing Media. We just finished up Stage 1. We'll be back for the start of Stage 2 after the break. Welcome back to the Icon Cup Series at the Kansas 250. We're about to start stage 2. Green flag is in the air. Brian Smith and Ryan Patty leading us back to green. Braxton DeWeese, Patrick Colby, and Justin Bissonette, your top 5. Smith back out to the lead, already led 51 laps tonight. He's going to keep that total moving forward. Single file in the top 4. Then Adam Ball and Kyle Diaz going to the inside of the 28 of Patrick Colby. Then it's the Rocket, Zach Lockett. Just behind him, and Kyle Gilbert, Bentley Glazer working their way into the top 10. Still just 2 wide back for the battle for 8th. In the rear of the field, really spaced out right now. Got the 97 car way off pace. That's Hollinsworth. He had a black flag that he had to get cleared here on the restart. Up front, Patty trying to track down Brian Smith. He's cutting into that gap. Patty down to the bottom, not able to get side by side with Smith just yet. He's going to line it up and try to do it again. Another car a little off pace. The 01 of Kyle Purcell. Not sure exactly why. We've seen him up near the front earlier in the race. A little bit off pace right now, though. For the 01. Here comes Hollinsworth, actually going to bring it to pit road. Definitely an issue of some sort on the 97. Patty now trying to use the high line to gain some momentum on Brian Smith. Gonna get a run here down the front stretch. And Brian's gonna take the clean air right off of his nose. These two on a breakaway away from the pack right now. But it's close racing all through the top 15. Gilbert now working on Diaz. This is for 7th. Bentley Glazer in 9th. Looking to throw his hat into the ring. Kyle Gilbert has been on the march. Started in 20th and then got caught up in some of those early cautions. Dropped as low as 25th. And is now marching back forward as high as he's been all day in 8th position. Trying to hold off Glazer, Purcell, and Delph. Diaz and Ball now side by side. Up front, Brian Smith starting to gap out on Ryan Patty. Now 4/10 between those two. Then it's a 2.5 back to Braxton DeWeese in 3rd. And right now, the top 3 are the only drivers in the top 10 that are playoff contenders. We're just 13 laps into stage 2. Now that things are settled down, we're going to check in on our teammates Here, Brian Smith leading the race, leading the way for Buddy Motorsports. Cody Neal and Jacob Smith both outside the top 10 right now, but still on the lead lap. Jacob caught up in an issue earlier, and then Cody Neal, he also got sideways at one point. Both of those drivers looking to rebound. Next up for ECR, Electric City Racing, Ryan Patty's leading the way, but all three drivers in the top 10. Justin Bissonette in 5th, Adam Ball in 9th. Great run for ECR so far tonight. Next team up is Adrenaline Racing with Zach Lockett leading the way. We mentioned Brzezowski most likely running race control tonight, so he's showing up in the field, but down at the bottom of the scoring tower. Ooh, and Bissonette slaps the wall. Then Kyle Diaz, the lone entry for Gone Wrong Racing tonight, running in 6th. Kyle Gilbert, the lone entry of Renville Racing. Then the Purcells of Sean and Kyle, representing Chicagoland Racing. They're got Sean in the top 10. Kyle dropped back to 18th. We mentioned that. Not sure why he's dropped off the pace a little bit there. And Colby and Bloom, both for Dragonfly. I think they one of them capitalized the F and one didn't, so it's splitting them out. But they are on the same team here, 28 and 11, running 12th and 13th. Chuck Van Schaik driving for Goat Racing in 15th. Just behind him, Tizio for Great Lakes Racing with EVC. We saw that 85 have an issue earlier in the race. He's still out, 63 laps down now. And Hollinsworth parked it. I'm not sure what happened to the 97. He's already 10 laps down after parking it on pit road. Back, we can see what happened to the 97. I just didn't see anything obvious. Go on. No, there's nothing in his events.
Oh, maybe he just had his fun meter pegged out.
Oh, great run for the 97 while he was on track. Bummed to see him have an issue. Brian Smith still out front, 65 laps led here tonight now, with Ryan Patty about a half second back. Best battle on track is this one. The battle for 10th between Brad Delph and Adam Ball. Colby's also not too far behind him.
Yes, stage 2, Shane, has relatively been uneventful so far.
Right here, a 3-car battle for 6th. That's Diaz, Gilbert, and Glazer. With Sean Purcell in the picture too. 6th through 9th. And we're now 21 laps into the stage. That's 18 laps that all of these drivers have run on fuel. We're probably about 10-15 laps away from a green flag cycle if this avoids any cautions.
You know, and here's the thing I gotta ask, Shane. Was these stages built with cautions in them?
What do you mean by that?
So, you know, we're going to lap 50 both times. Was the cautions built into the stages when they determined it?
Yeah. So it's just the end of lap 50 and the end of lap 100. How many cautions are in between or during those stage breaks don't really affect when the stage break comes. But we've got cars spread out all the way through the track right now. And a couple cars, we mentioned Jacob Smith, caught up in an early accident. He has not recovered. And it looks like he might still have some lingering damage on that right front fender here on the 4 car. You see it right there. But he is back in 20th, struggling to move forward. He's probably going to need a couple more cautions, maybe to finish up some repairs. And right in front of him is Nathan Finnegan. And he started 22nd, currently 19th. We might be having a bit of a trading paints issue here on the 6 car. I know he's got a hot scheme usually. But some damage to his right front fender as well. So both of these drivers, usually front runners, the 4 and the 6 of Smith and Finnegan, struggling here at Kansas, running back in 19th and 20th.
Yeah, I mean...
And the 74 is on pit road,
Whoa.
Alan.
He almost wasn't on pit road. He almost had to hit the abort button. He almost missed it.
So Purcell opting to split this stage right down the middle. We'll see if any other drivers decide to do something similar or just ride this out and hope for a caution. But Purcell the first to be aggressive here with pit strategy. Patty not letting Smith get too far out in front of him. The gap is 7/10, but Smith is not running away from the 30 car as he has some other races this season. Oh, and there goes Patty to pit road. Zach Lockett going to come with him.
That might be a penalty. We've got to keep an eye on that.
I'm not seeing any black flags on my screen. That's going to catapult Braxton DeWeese up to 2nd place. Almost 2.5 seconds behind the leader. And the 06 of Bissonette into 3rd. He's up 21 positions on the night. Great run for that 06. And with DeWeese coming to pit road, that's going to send Justin into 2nd place behind Brian Smith. Bentley Glazer also coming down pit lane. Gilbert and Diaz battling hard here down the backstretch. Diaz gets loose and really gives up some speed. There goes Gilbert to pit road. Diaz going to come with him. That was a little bit of a late decision, but he makes it work. No black flag for either driver as they hit pit road. Brian Smith still out front here during this green flag cycle. Bissonette in 2nd and Adam Ball in 3rd. Really getting spaced out now, Alan.
Yeah, there's 20 laps to go here in stage number 2. And so far, it's been Brian Smith all day long.
He has been in control. 77 laps led on the day. And I think if you're the leader, this is the right play. Just stay out. Hope for a caution, trap a bunch of these drivers a lap down that decided to get aggressive. But at the same time, if you're one of these drivers that has already hit pit road like Ryan Patty or Braxton DeWeese, this is the right move for you too. You're not going to catch the 78 if you just do the same thing he does. So why not come down pit road, get your fresh tires early, and try to make up pace. And right now, Ryan Patty is almost a 2nd a lap faster than our leader of the 78, Brian Smith. So every lap they're out there, every lap that the 78 decides to stay on track, he's losing a 2nd back to Ryan Patty. And those two were within a 2nd when Patty hit pit road. So if this stays green, I think Ryan Patty is going to be in the best position as long as he can have this play out without trapping him a lap down with an early caution. Bissonette now hits pit road, as does Jacob Smith. Looks like Jacob picked up a meatball though. Didn't see when he picked that up. Lap 81. Let's go back and take a look. I mean, he's just on pit road. I'm not sure what he did to deserve that. Now Nathan Finnegan on pit road. And nothing out of the ordinary there, but what it says, the 4-car picked up a meatball on lap 81. That's 2 laps ago as he came onto pit road. So Brian Smith still out there. Adam Ball in second now. Brad Delph in third.
Yeah, and Brian Smith just put this thing on cruise control, and he's out for a Sunday night drive.
He is still losing about a half second a lap in terms of speed to Ryan Patty, who was the first car to hit pit road of this group. I'm sorry, it was actually Sean Purcell that was the first, about 2 laps before Ryan, but Ryan pitting out of second. He's going to be the one hoping to come out in front of Brian when Brian eventually hits pit road. We'll do a little strategy check here. So Patty took 2 tires, Deweese took fuel only, Zach Lockett took 4 tires. We're going to have a couple different strategies playing out here with 15 to go in stage 2. Smith still out there. Now 34 laps on this tank. The top 10 have not pitted yet in this stage. And cars are now spread out all the way around this Kansas Speedway. Whether they're a lap down or not, just 9 cars on the lead lap. Widener just hit pit road out of the top 10. As we jump on board with Brian Smith. Like you said, just on cruise control. No one anywhere near him right now. 7 seconds back to Adam Ball in second place. Last pitted on lap 52. 36 laps ago. We're pretty sure he cannot make it to the end of the stage, which is another 12 laps from now. Just wondering when he's going to make the move. I think at this point he's made his bed. He's got to sleep in it. He's got to cross his fingers for a caution. Otherwise, I think he knows that Ryan Patty is going to have the leg up on him here after all of these laps running with fresh tires to gain time.
I mean, what if Brian Smith has just saved all this fuel and we just don't know about it? He knows something we don't. Here he comes. Just as I say that,
there he goes to pit road. You see Patty unlap himself immediately as a 78 hits pit road.
I think he goes fuel only.
So Adam Ball is the leader. He was about 7 seconds behind Brian Smith. We'll keep an eye on the 78 and what he does on pit road. Fuel only versus 2 tires only going to save him about 3.5 seconds.
I think Brian Smith has to do fuel only.
And there goes Adam Ball. So Smith's stop was 7 seconds. I think that was fuel only, but I think he might have taken too much fuel. As we see him now wrapping around, he is behind Patty coming off pit road. Ryan Patty about 6 seconds ahead of the 78. as they run. And the 3 drivers that had yet to pit, Ball, Delph, and Tizio, all hitting pit road this time by. So Patty assumes the lead with 9 to go and a 5.5 second lead over the 78. This is going to be really interesting, Alan. We saw a second difference in tires, but Smith opted to go fuel only. So he's not going to have that tire differential that Ryan Patty did coming off of pit road. He took 2 tires. I think the gamble's going to pay off for the 30. Then Braxton Deweese is back in 3rd. He went fuel only and is riding about 2 seconds behind Brian Smith. He's got Zach Lockett right in his mirror, though.
Yeah, how cool would that be for the Rocket, Zach Lockett, to score another podium back-to-back weeks?
And Lockett took 4 tires, so he is going to be on the move here. I think Braxton Deweese is in trouble as the 93, the 06, and the 87 are all pretty close there behind him. And they all got tires, whether it was 2 or 4.
Just 7 laps remain here in stage number 2. Ryan Patty now finds himself with an inherited 5.5 second lead over your points leader, Brian Smith.
And he's faster than Smith, too. He's growing that gap. Smith is not going to catch him before the end of this stage.
You know, you mentioned earlier that Braxton Deweese is in trouble. He's still in the top 10. He's still going to get those stage points.
Yeah, but all 3 of those cars just got around him. It's another 3 seconds back to Patrick Colby and Adam Ball. They're on the same strategy as Deweese, though, so don't expect a huge time differential on those lap times. So Deweese should bring it home here in 6th. And again, just kind of a little shocking how few of the playoff drivers are in the top 10 currently, set up to get stage points. Jacob Smith, Cody Neal, Sean Purcell, Chuck Van Schaik, Kyle Purcell, all outside the top 10. Van Schaik is in 12th, but he's 4 seconds out of 10th place with just 4 to go in the stage.
Yeah, just 4 laps remaining. Nathan Finnegan in that unsponsored number 6 car this week. Don't know what happened to all the sponsors, or if he just wanted to not put any sponsors on his car.
Now, I'm going to assume we're having a trade and paints issue. I refreshed it once already, but I know Nathan usually has a nice scheme there. Finnegan is running 1 lap down. Right now, we've got 15 cars on the lead lap. Robert Bloom in line to inherit the lucky dog at the end of the stage with now just 3 laps to go.
I mean, do we call it a lucky dog anymore?
I still call it the lucky dog. Let's see. We'll see what the graphic says. What's the graphic say? It says lucky dog. So I'm going lucky dog. Iracing still calls it the lucky dog, even though NASCAR calls it the debt relief something or other. Like, come on, guys.
The debt relief lap. Like, look, as if America needs another reminder that we're all in debt.
Yeah, and I know in my league, you actually do have to bark like a dog to get that wave around. So we definitely still call it the lucky dog. And there goes Brian Smith around Robert.
Whoa.
As well as Chris Camburn. So now Camburn in that lucky dog spot with 1 to go. So that is not how Bloom wanted to see that play out. The leaders are adding a few cars to that lap down list. We do have a battle here for 8th position. Adam Ball trying to hold off Sean Purcell in the 74. There is the stage caution here on lap 100. Chris Camburn going to grab the lucky dog that time. Running in 16th position there for the 88. And with that, we are going to take our second commercial break of the night and be right back for the start of Stage 3 with the Icon Cup Series and the Kansas 250 on Sim Racing Media. Welcome back to the Kansas 250 with the Icon Cup Series on SRM. We just wrapped up Stage 2 with Brian Smith dominating this race, but Ryan Patty using pit strategy to come out with a 5-second lead over that 78 car. So he's going to lead us back to green here for Stage 3. Patty and Smith on the front row, Bissonette and Lockett in row 2. Whole bunch of cars there pitting to make repairs. That's why we've got a long tail on the inside line at the back of the pack, but at the front it's Patty, and now Bissonette gets around Brian Smith. Great restart for the inside line. Braxton DeWeese trying to get 4th place away from Zach Lockett as Bentley Glazer and Sean Purcell are right there. Battle for second really heating up. Both cars all the way down to the apron on the front stretch. Then they fan out in the turn. Bissonette down low. Smith up high. 78 gonna take it. He clears the 06. Now sets his sights on the 30 of Ryan Patty. Hard
They're gonna
race.
get single filed out there too. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, the front single filed out, but they're side by side back here between Diaz and Ball. That's for 10th place. Still 54 laps to go. Everyone knows they've got a pit stop waiting for them. I'm not sure. Some drivers are thinking this is the time to go. I've got to get my track position. I've got to position myself to be within reach of the lead at the end. And other drivers thinking, hey, this is still a long race. A pit stop, at least one left to go. How can I make these tires and this fuel last to the end? But Brian Smith is saying, I want the lead back.
Go. Brian Smith charging. Ryan Patty under on Deepton's. To the outside. He's going to go Kyle Larson line.
Smith has not been lower than 5th all night, and even that was during a green flag pit cycle. Trying to get a run on Ryan Patty for the lead. And he's the only driver in the top 10 right now using the high line. Snacks the wall, though.
That's a Kansas stripe.
Then down low that time. Patty gonna cut down, take the air off his nose. That's okay. Sometimes it's just about letting that driver in front of you know that you're there.
Oh, if you're Ryan Patty, you know Brian Smith is gonna be there. It's just a matter of time. When does Brian get back to that 30 car? And here he is right now. As Brian Smith is throwing everything at Ryan, including the kitchen sink.
Yeah, Brian Smith with 11 wins on the season, far and away the winningest driver. But Ryan Patty has 3 wins on the season, tied with Jacob Smith and Cody Neal. Then Nathan Finnegan has 5, and then there's a handful of drivers with 1 win this season, but 78 has been the car to beat more often than not. He actually swept all 3 races in the round of 16 to start the playoffs. Really set the tone for how the season is going to wrap up. Bentley Glazer now trying to get around Braxton DeWeese. Glazer, one of those drivers that did make it into the playoffs as the regular season wrapped up, but is no longer in the running. And I feel like that's the type of driver that can be really dangerous in the postseason, Alan. They've kind of got nothing to lose and everything to prove. Glazer having a strong run here tonight at Kansas.
Yeah, finish this season on a high note. You know, get that momentum as we head into the offseason. You know, do some testing, come back next season for Daytona stronger than ever. I mean, Bentley Glazer showed a lot of signs of life, you know, here throughout the season with multiple wins. And, well, here, you know, in a lot of podiums. But here we are in Kansas, and he's not left the top 10.
Yeah, just having a great race there for the 87. Check back up front. Ryan Patty now out to a 0.6 of a second lead over Brian Smith. Zach Lockett is 3rd. He's got a little bit of a breathing room back to Bissonette in 4th, who has a mirror full of Glazer and DeWeese.
And a lot of these drivers that are highlighted in the blue are, oh, we got a caution flag. It is, oh, Kyle Purcell, Kyle Gilbert out of Paducah, Kentucky, backs it into the fence.
We've got cars going everywhere. If we can track down what happened there. Adam Ball's the first one on my list. And there, that smoke, there's somebody around in front of him. Gilbert was already around. Let's back this one up. Oh, okay, so Gilbert is racing the 74. And it looked like the 227 just got loose right in front, about an inch off the nose of the 74, and there's no time to check up for Purcell. Adam Ball gets collected up in that one, and then Gilbert just kind of moonwalks it all the way down the backstretch.
He's playing smooth criminal.
But let's go back a lap and jump on board with the 74 here. You can see Gilbert really throw it in there on the bottom, slide up in front, and then just get loose, trying to complete the pass. Again, I don't think either driver did anything wrong. It's just when you come up in front of someone and take the air off your spoiler, these next-gen cars can get out from under you.
Yeah, there's no saving these cars either.
So, I think that's going to send literally everyone down pit road with the exception of two drivers, Bloon and Van Schaik, who might be looking for a wave around here. When everybody comes off of pit road, we'll check in on how many tires they decided to put on. Still 44 laps to go to the checkered, so nobody can make it on fuel. And as I say that, why don't we check those pit intervals from earlier in the race? Again, our pre-race note said the fuel window was 35 to 37, and it looks like the longest anybody went was about 38. Now, Van Schaik has been stretching it longer, but he might have been saving fuel. I see 47 laps in one of his stints. That doesn't seem to line up with everybody else in the data. So let's say 38 is the furthest you can go. That's what Brian Smith was able to do, which means everybody's still going to be 6 to 7 laps short from here. So I think that's what you can bet on. Is there still a stop to go? And if you're Ryan Patty, I'm assuming you're going to want to try and do the same thing you did earlier in the race. Split that right in half and use all that extra speed with two tires to gap the rest of the field. But coming off of pit road, Brian Smith went with two tires, and that's got him the lead now. So Smith out front on two. Everybody from Ryan Patty all the way back to Kyle Purcell in 8th. They all got 4 tires. Diaz and Neal, they're in for a little bit extra, making some repairs on top of the 4-tire stop. And then Adam Ball went fuel only. He might be trying to save a set of tires. Cause let's check with our leader here. So Brian Smith has taken tires 3 times. We knew he had 5 of those, so he still has 2 sets sitting on pit wall, but some of these drivers might not, and they might need to save some for the end. But it's going to be Brian Smith and Ryan Patty out front again. Green flag in the air. 43 laps to go. And we've seen whoever gets the lead is able to hold on to it pretty well. Patty taps the wall, trying to keep up to the 78 and stay on that fender, but the 78's going to clear him.
And that's not what Ryan Patty wanted down the back straightaway. Ryan Patty still faster than Brian Smith, but nonetheless, here comes the Hornets that's right behind Ryan Patty with Braxton DeWeese leading the charge.
And DeWeese is now up to 3rd as he gets around Zach Lockett. They're 3 wide behind him as Glazer jumps to the outside. He's got Purcell and Diaz down low. Oh, they make it work. The 01 got a little loose.
I tell you what, Shane, there is more action in a Waffle House at 3 a.m. right now. And these guys are Goodyear to Goodyear to Goodyear.
Oh, I thought they were heading into the wall right there. Purcell on Purcell violence, but they slide in behind each other. The 01 behind the 74. And don't look now, there's Cody Neal. He's had time to make some repairs tonight. Now trying to break into the top 10. The 01 smacks the wall. And on that lap, our leader Brian Smith just turned the fastest lap of the whole race, a 30.17, matched by Kyle Purcell earlier. Speed's starting to pick up, even as the track is heating up. Still 100 degrees on track, now 81 in the air. And the tension is just building here in this final run. 74 now underneath Glazer.
They're almost to that fuel window. Who's gonna stay out? Who's gonna split the stage again? And are you gonna wait till the last possible minute to come down pit road?
Yeah, will anybody change their strategy? Smith opting to stay out as long as he could on fuel that last run. That cost him the win of stage 2 as Patty was able to capitalize. But if you're one of these drivers like Braxton DeWeese, Zach Lockett, Ryan Patty, is it more about just doing the opposite of the leader to try something different? Because I think if the 78 decides to split the stage, your best bet is to do the opposite and hope for the caution, because he is starting to drive away with it now.
Yeah, he's got to have second lead over Ryan Patty and Braxton DeWeese. If you're one of these drivers, you're hoping that there's a caution deep in the field. Not that you really want to be in it, but I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Now, we mentioned a number of drivers caught up in big wrecks, having to make significant repairs. As we take a look at our wrench wranglers on the night, Finnegan with almost 5 minutes back in the 20th. Then a whole bunch of drivers here. Champion up to 13th after 2 minutes. Cody Neal rebounding to 12th right now with almost 2 minutes. Kyle Gilbert in the same boat. But Kyle Purcell and Patrick Colby, the two drivers that have rebounded into the top 10 after significant repairs. It's been a long night. The pit crew's earning their salary as a 74 is trying to hold off Colby for 7th place.
We're almost halfway through stage number 3. The final stage. Brian Smith continues to lead a half second over Ryan Patty. As they look, the top 4 has got this field smothered. Whoa, we got a car around.
Yeah, who is that? Bissonette.
What a save.
Let's jump back a lap and see what happens here. The 06 just minding his own business, down low. Then gets loose on exit.
I give him a 4.5 on style.
Oh, 4.5, I'll give him a 10. You get sideways like that and avoid both walls. That's the best thing you can do. Merges back up into traffic, loses a bunch of positions, but then makes it to pit road. And hey, why not? You just kind of shook up your positioning anyway. Why not jump on pit road and use this to your advantage? So the 06 going to come off. He's going to be a lap down, as is going to happen to anyone who pits before the leader. But up front, it's Brian Smith. We're going to run through our video. Smith, like we said, has not been outside the top 5 all night long. He's led now 99 laps, 100 the next time they come around. Started in first, running first. He is the car to beat. Then behind him in second, Ryan Patty started outside the top 10 as we see him smack the wall there, but not lose any speed. He's been running up front most of the night, has led 25 laps. And really only dropped back due to the green flag pit cycle. He dropped all the way to 19th, a lap down, and then just raced his way into that stage 2 win. In P3, Braxton DeWeese, a little bit more of a rocky journey. Started in 8th, but immediately dropped to 25th in the first caution of the night, and has been racing his way back to the front ever since. Has taken tires 4 times. That means he's got 1 more sitting on pit wall. Then behind him, Zach Lockett, kind of similar up front and taking advantage of the early cautions to move into the top 10. And then just kind of riding out those green flag cycles to stay in the top 5. Currently running 4th behind Deweese and ahead of Bentley Glazer. Bentley Glazer, another similar story. A lot of these drivers just took advantage of that green flag cycle in stage 2 to stay relevant, stay within reach of the lead. 74 of Kyle Purcell, a little more adversity here. He's already stopped 5 times, so keep that in your crew chief notebook. That 74, I don't believe, has any more tires. Sitting on the pit wall, he needs this to run green, and he's going to be doing a splash and go to get to the end. Then Patrick Colby, he's in 7th. He's been all over the leaderboard, as low as 25th and as high as 2nd. No laps led tonight, but he is running strong in 8th. Then just behind him, Kyle Purcell. We saw him up front contending for the lead. Then in one of the stages, he was the first car with 4 fresh tires before he got loose and kind of lost some positions before the end, but he's been as high as 2nd. Currently running in the top 10. Then in 10th place is Jake Champion, another driver we've just kind of seen relevant all night long, has been bouncing up and down on the leaderboard. A lot of repairs done for Champion tonight, but he's running in the top 10.
Yeah, with just 26 laps that remain here in the final stage, as we are working 35. Now we're inside that fuel window.
We're there now. Just 26 laps to go. Looks like the 11 car has hit pit road. So now let's take a look. We still have 14 cars on the lead lap and 17 cars that have not pitted yet. There's a handful of drivers a lap down. Right now, Jacob Smith is sitting in the lucky dog position if a caution were to come out. Brad Delph about 3 seconds behind him, contending for the lucky dog. But Brian Smith, over a second gap back to 2nd place. I think it's all going to come down to pit strategy, Alan.
Exactly. No, you're 100% correct. Who's going to pull the proverbial parachute before the end of this, and who's not going to?
Nathan Finnegan is on pit road. He was already 1 lap down. He's going to go 2 or 3 by pitting here. Not the run we're used to seeing out of that 6 car.
No. Checking in at youtube.com live chat, everybody. Thank you for showing us your comments here tonight. Got a couple of guys. We got Lucas here rooting on GLR, as EVC has called it tonight and won the race to the rear stand. He's going to win something.
Yeah, Deweese hitting pit road. He's going to be the first of the top 5 to do it. The 22 laps to go. He's almost splitting this right down the middle. I think this was going to be about a 50 lap run. But Smith still out front, leading Ryan Patty. Looking through the field, closest battle is right here between Cody Neal and Sean Purcell. This is for 5th place. Neal rebounding impressively after that caution in stage 1, I believe it was. Now Charles Woods, Kyle Purcell, and Kyle Diaz all hitting pit road. Brad Delph, the next one.
With 20 laps to go, if you're Brian Smith, you got a hell of a decision on your hand. That's when to pull the proverbial parachute and bring it on in, and here it is.
And Patty's gonna come with them. Like I said, I would have expected him to flip the strategy, but I think that 30 car feels like he's close enough that he could steal this one from Brian. We'll see how many tires they take as they hit pit road, as Zach Lockett and Bentley Glazer are now the leaders. And Lockett is up 22 positions from the start of the race. And now he's going to come to pit road. That leaves Bentley Glazer in the lead. Jake Champion also hitting pit road, but he just picked up the black, Alan.
Oh no.
We'll take a quick look here. Coming to pit road, and there it is. Got sideways. Oh, he actually went all the way around. I believe he got an unsafe pit entry or a speeding. Oh, he's going to go around again. Yeah. The Champions Day getting derailed here at the final pit stops. He's got a black flag to serve on top of the time lost there getting on pit road. Bentley Glazer still out front. So we're starting to see the strategy plays out. Who is going to stay out as long as they can? Who's going to come down and take the right amount of tires? Both Brian and Ryan Patty came down on the same lap. They both took 2 tires to run these final 18 laps. Braxton DeWeese doing the same, although he came down a couple laps earlier. So right now it looks like 2 tires is the most popular strategy, as Gilbert now hits pit road. And now there are just 6 cars on the lead lap, including Gilbert. Make that 7 now. The leaderboard is shifting on me as I'm reading it. 5 drivers on the lead lap now. Cody Neal is the last driver on the lead lap. Cam Byrne, Adam Ball, Patrick Colby, Sean Purcell, Bentley Glazer, all still out there. Gonna be hoping for a caution to save their night and their strategy. Oh,
is this the night where Bentley Glazer breaks through?
Let's jump on board with the 87. See if any of these drivers are trying to stretch that fuel. They'd have to add about 10 laps to the tank. I don't think anybody can do that unless they've been saving this entire run very aggressively. And as we see, Glazer is actually coming to pit road right now. That's 30 laps on the run for him. Sean Purcell inherits the lead. We'll see if he's doing any fuel saving. Doesn't sound like it. Brock Hersey in the chat cheering on Ryan Patty in the 30. As now Glazer is about to come off of pit road. It's still Sean Purcell out front. DeWeese right there trying to get his lap back in case a caution were to come out. Glazer going to lose a lap there as he comes out of the pits. Brian Smith and Ryan Patty have unlapped themselves at this point, running 6th and 7th behind those 5 cars that have not come to pit road in now 33 laps.
And just 11 laps to go. Does Sean Purcell know something that the rest of the field doesn't know?
I mean, he's going to run it out. So now 33 laps on this run. We've seen some drivers make it to 37, 38 or so. Checking in on Ryan Patty. He's about a second behind the 78 of Brian Smith. Both drivers took 2 tires on that pit stop. Doesn't look like anybody in contention for the win took 4 tires. So 2 tires is the most popular choice here to finish out the race. Is now Sean Purcell, Patrick Colby, Adam Ball, Chris Camburn, and Cody Neal remain on track. Colby and Neal trying to keep their playoff hopes moving forward. Remember, Kyle Purcell, Patrick Colby, Chuck Van Schaik, they're all more than 10 points below the cut line coming into this race. They need to make something out of nothing. Van Schaik is a lap down. He's not having the run he needs. Brian Smith, 56 points to the good coming in. He's got quite the buffer. He can just go for the win. Jacob Smith had a bad night. Let's see, but he has rebounded to 12th, actually. Really strong run for that 4-car after the way this race started for him.
I think in this stage of the game, if you're Sean Purcell, you have to stay out with 7 laps to go. You got to try something.
You got to try. But if you're Patrick Colby, I mean, this is making me nervous for the 28. Like, he needs a good finish to get those points and head into the Roval next week. So a big gamble there as the 74 is going to come to pit road with 7 laps to go. Colby stays out, though.
Colby has to. He cannot afford to come down pit road with 6 laps to go.
And you hear it.
Oh, he's clutching it. He's clutching the car.
All the way out. Now, I think, 6 months ago, you would have seen him shut off the ignition too, but Iracing had an update that keeps these next-gen cars from shutting their ignition off above 45 miles an hour. Hurts the fuel mileage when you're trying to do something like this, but Colby is going to see what he can make happen, and Chris Camburn just picked up a black flag as he came to pit road, speeding on entry, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And there it is. You can hear Colby saving everything he's got in this tank. 5 laps to go. He's already done 39 laps. Can Patrick Colby inject some nitrous into his playoff run by stretching it on fuel here at Kansas? He's got a 20-second lead over Brian Smith.
He's got to make it 4 laps.
And again, I cannot resist to jump on board with Patrick Colby and listen to him save fuel.
I love it.
Adam Ball is on the same strategy. He's 9 seconds out of the lead, though. And the 19 doing the same exact thing all the way out of the throttle. Clutches in.
He's clutching the car.
Cody Neal, the next driver in line on this strategy. 9 seconds behind Ball, 18 seconds behind Colby. He's not going to make it. He's coming to pit road now.
He's coming to pit road.
With 3 to go. That leaves Colby out front. with Adam Ball, the only two cars trying to stretch it on fuel.
Oh, I cannot believe this.
At the
Brian,
line, just 2 laps to go. Can Patrick Colby and Adam Ball pull it off?
Adam Ball, not a playoff contender. And Patrick Colby trying to get in and put it on easy street going into the Roval.
He's going to have to stretch that tank to 44 laps to make it to the end. But right now, he's still got 18 seconds over Brian Smith. He's got to save aggressively. He's going to do it as he comes to the white flag. He's just got to make it around one more time.
He's letting cars go by him. He's on the very end side of the racetrack, trying to make that racetrack as short as possible.
Patrick Colby starting 13th. Now coming around turns 3 and 4 for the final time. He is going to make it 44 laps on fuel and pick up the win and stamp his ticket into the round of 4. The 28 of Patrick Colby gets the victory.
OMG. What a race.
Adam Ball also makes it. Second place for the 19, and then Brian Smith going to come home third with Ryan Patty outside the podium in 4th. What a finish for the 28. We talked about
laps.
He came into this below the cut line to start the round of 8 and found a way into victory lane. Outstanding. Patrick Colby for Dragonfly Racing.
If Patrick Colby wins this championship, this race right here, on September 28th, 2025, will be the race that he looks back on. When his back was against the wall, he showed why he's a champion.
And I'm not sure he has any fuel left to do the burnout, Alan.
No, but he'll at least get the screenshot. Wow. Just as in a real life race. Dramatics.
Incredible. I think we said it a couple times. We're trying to see who's going to beat Brian Smith. You're going to have to do something different on strategy, the opposite of whatever that 78 does. We saw Patty come down pit road with him and kind of seal their fates together. But Colby stayed out and stretched it again 7 or 8 laps longer than we saw any other car do it tonight.
I wish we would have had on board with Patrick Colby, because I would imagine he's in his rig right now, smiling from ear to ear.
And now we are going to go back and chat with some of our podium drivers, starting with, I believe it's going to be 3rd place, Brian Smith. We got Brian, the driver of the 78 for you, Alan.
Brian Smith, it's Alan and Shane up in the SRM booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
Man, what a run there. But so close yet so far away. Had the dominant car all night, take us to the race, and what more you could have needed to get
a few extra gallons of fuel or those guys to run out is all I would have needed. But yeah, what a great track. It's so much fun tonight, running all over the place, up by the wall, down low, everywhere. But great battle with Patty. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Great hats off to Patrick and Adam. Those guys just made the right strategy call, and I didn't. I want to say that was a 44 lap run at the end, and my fuel calculator was telling me 37 laps was a full run. So I had a feeling that, you know, if someone was going to save and it went green, that they'd do it. But I was still surprised. And I was on 2 tires there. That was a whole nother thing. So I was a little nervous about that. I didn't know how the lefts would feel after 60 laps, but they held off Patty. So At least that was the right call. But yeah, I made the wrong call on fuel strategy. I just wasn't willing to take that gamble and drop back in the field trying to save, being as fast as we were tonight. But like I said, hats off to those guys and tons of fun out there.
Well, next week we head to the Roval, the last road course, if you will, of the season. What's going to be your mindset, knowing that you had a good run and you got to really punch your way into the round of 4 via win or pointing in?
Yeah, the Roval is a tricky one, especially the starts. So you gotta qualify well and stay out of trouble. I think if I can just survive that green flag in the first half of that first lap, I'll be in pretty good shape. But yeah, and that last road course race of the year next week, this was the first mile and a half since Charlotte, I believe. So that was a ton of fun to get back out on the mile and a half. I enjoy it in these cars. I think it's the best track for these cars, ironically. But yeah, we'll have to hope we have a good day at the Roval.
Well, look, man, before we get you out of here, who do you want to thank and who helped you get it done on that number 78 ride?
Shout out to the team. Cody and Jacob did not have great nights, unfortunately, so they'll have to look to rebound. We'd really like to get all 3 Buddy Motorsports cars into the round of 4. We'll see if that happens. I know Jacob and Cody are both good road racers, so hopefully they bring their A game next week and just try and stay out of trouble. So yeah, again, hats off to Adam and Patrick. That was crazy awesome strategy call by them. It was a ton of fun out there tonight, and shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast. Hope everyone watching enjoyed it.
All right, well, good stuff, man. Once again, congratulations on the 3rd place finish, and we'll see you next week at the Roval.
Yeah, thanks guys.
All right, next up, going to be driver of the 19 car, Adam Ball, P2 finisher. Adam, you got a copy?
Gotcha.
How about that? We saw just you and Colby, the only 2 cars able to stretch that run out. I mean, it's got to feel good to pull it off and get yourself up on the podium, but you kind of got to wish that Colby had run out so you could have won this thing.
Yeah, it'd be nice if that one other car wasn't able to get all the way. I didn't know who else was going to try it, but we made it work and we got a top 2, so it's good.
Yes, sir. At what point in that run did you decide to start saving?
Before the run started, I knew it was going to be close, so I topped off on gas and turn 1, green flag, started to clutch it, and just watched my fuel the whole run.
I mean, just a heck of a run there for you. You got caught up in that initial caution, dropped all the way back to 26th, and then just battled through the night, sometimes stopping for fuel only, sometimes for repairs. How are you deciding to ration your tires for this race or use them for strategy to get track position?
Well, I always kind of plan ahead before the race what I'm going to do. Of course, that never works. Halfway through the race, things change and you just adjust as it goes. So when that last yellow flag came, just a few laps before what I knew you could make on a fuel run, that's the whole thing. But yeah, you just kind of take it as it comes.
Well, that's exactly what you did. Coming home with a P2 finish, kind of a surprise there at the end, but you made it work. Congratulations on the great finish. Who else do you have to thank for your run tonight?
Just thank the whole CCR, ECR team. Always fun to hang out with those guys as the race. Wish some of those guys could get a better finish than they did. And of course, thanks my wife for letting me do this every week, and my mom, who's probably in Virginia right now on vacation, but still watch the race. So, hi, Mom.
Yeah, hi, Mom. Welcome to Virginia. I'm out of Richmond myself, so happy to have her. Congratulations again on the finish. We'll see you out there next week at the Roval.
Sounds good. See you guys there.
All right. And then last but not least for you, Alan, going to be driver of the 28, winner of the race, Patrick Colby.
Patrick Colby climbing out of the race car, smiling from ear to ear. Patrick, congratulations on winning that race.
Oh my God, thanks guys. I feel like I've thrown away a couple of them this year. I couldn't believe I was able to make it last.
Hey, look, man, we were on board with you, and you had that clutch in for the last 44 laps. That's how much fuel you had saved. And, I call it going on the Maxwell House strategy. Take us through that and when you decide to employ that strategy.
Well, I learned about it actually early in stage 1 when we got those couple of yellows and me and Chuck stayed out. I knew that I could make it 40, 41 pretty easily. I knew if I really saved hard, I could probably gain that extra lap. And kind of given that some playoff guys had issues tonight and I was able to get some good stage points, I was like, you know what, man, let's just go for it. We just clutched the whole way, and I had to ride about 3/4 throttle there the last 10 laps to get it to run out of gas going into 1 after taking the checkered. But
Yeah, absolutely. Well, next week we head into to Charlotte for the Roval, and you, my friend, are already locked into the round of 4. What's going to be the strategy next week as we get into Charlotte?
we just try and get points, man. Try and chip into Brian Smith's point lead, and whoever else ends up obviously in the playoff 4 is kind of I feel like an upset being up in there. You know, old Joey Logano back in 2018, the big 3 and me. So
yeah, absolutely. A lot of fun to watch tonight. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, I told Shane, I said Patrick Colby needs to win here tonight. And when you started, we went on board. I mean, what a strategy play! But you know, before we get you out of here, Patrick, who do you want to thank, and who helped you get it done on that 28 car?
my beautiful wife sitting behind me, she always roots me on and likes watching these things, and I appreciate all of her support.
Now let me ask you a question real quick.
Absolutely.
Before we get back to your shout outs, was she smiling just as big as you are?
I think so. I didn't see her back there, but probably.
I mean, because like, if it wasn't, you know, they see our struggles, they see our triumphs, and you know, I feel like sometimes they just don't get what we go through, but when they see us succeed in what we do, it's almost like it's almost, you know, impressive to watch. But back to your shout outs.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, my teammates, Chuck, and obviously team owner Goggles for, you know, taking me in this season, like rookie year, I guess, essentially for me in this Cup series. So I appreciate, you know, the bouncing ideas off these guys and just having people to talk to. So they've been great. I owe a lot to them as well.
Awesome job. Well, once again, congratulations on the win, and tell Mrs. Colby that we says hi. And once again, congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Thanks, guys.
You know what? I just had, I think, $1 million idea, Alan.
Oh, goodness.
I think, you know, we do some in-car cameras sometimes showing drivers in their sim rigs. I think we need a wife camera for most of our drivers, you know, or a family camera. We know so many people have their family watching and cheering them on. I think we need to see what the fans look like more than we need to see what the drivers look like. I'll get to work on that.
Usually I'm the one with the crazy ideas, and you know, here's the story before we get into our final results. Shane, you know, once again, you know, every time I come up with some crazy air braid scheme, you're like, I don't know if it's gonna work, and then the next week here we are doing it. But let's get into those final results one more time.
Yeah, so it's going to be Patrick Colby bringing it home, Adam Ball in second, and Brian Smith in third. Brian dominated the race. He had the fastest lap. He led 110 of them. Ryan Patty led 25. He's going to come home fourth. Then Zach Lockett, Braxton DeWeese, Bentley Glazer, Justin Bissonette, Kyle Purcell, and Kyle Diaz, your top 10. Kyle Gilbert, Sean Purcell, Chuck Van Schaik, Robert Bloom, Cody Neal, Jacob Smith, Jake Champion, Chris Camburn, Charlie Widener, and Nathan Finnegan, your top 20. Cody Eldred, Charles Woods, Brad Delph, Anthony Tizio, Hollinsworth, Hanover Fist, and EVC up through 27th. Brzezowski, like we said, was running race control, pretty sure. We finished with just 15 cars on the lead lap, just 22 cars still running here tonight. It was just, it was exciting. It was not what I expected. A lot of drivers like Jacob Smith, Nathan Finnegan having issues early on, Cody Neal getting caught up in it, but Patrick Colby just jumped out to the lead on pit strategy and stole this thing. Really impressive, and you know, there's more than one way to win a race, and he just showed us how it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great win by Patrick Colby. But as we always say each and every night, as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic, everyone. Have a great night.